For decades, ripping open a bag of M&Ms meant pouring out a very specific spectrum of glossy reds, bright yellows, and rich oranges. We expect that vibrant, artificial perfection every single time. But when Mars set out to launch a highly anticipated, dye-free version of their classic candy, the spectrum hit a sudden roadblock. Two legacy colors, blue and green, were abruptly pulled from the initial release. The absence was so glaring that Mars ended up openly acknowledging it on their promotional packaging, printing stark black and white wrappers that ask consumers to help find their colors. Mars is a multi-billion-dollar food empire with nearly unlimited resources, so why couldn't they replace two simple colors? The absence of blue and green marks a collision between modern health standards and raw chemistry. Mass candy production in the mid-20th century relied entirely on synthetic chemistry. Artificial dyes gave factories a cheap, predictable way to stamp out infinitely repeatable colors without worrying about the raw source materials. Today, consumer expectations have shifted. Strict new health standards are pushing legacy brands to drop those synthetic additives entirely and source their ingredients straight from nature. For the warm side of the color wheel, Mars found immediate success. By extracting red, yellow, and orange pigments directly from natural roots, spices, and beetroot, they easily replicated their classic shades. That transition alone required them to re-engineer an entire global manufacturing pipeline, overhauling massive production facilities just to accommodate those new organic botanical dyes. Because nature's warm tones align so neatly with their industrial machinery, the corporate pivot went smoothly. But that early success created a false sense of security about what nature is actually capable of, which brings us back to the missing cool colors. The hurdle blocking natural blue from the production line comes down to a specific chemical property known as thermal degradation. Synthetic dyes bypass this problem easily. Their rigid, lab-created chemical bonds are engineered to maintain a bright hue even when slammed with extreme manufacturing stress. Natural botanicals are fragile. When natural blue pigment hits the intense heat of a factory floor, its molecular structure physically breaks apart. The botanical extract immediately degrades from vivid blue into a muddy purple-brown, entirely unusable for candy coating. And since creating a natural green requires mixing yellow with a stable blue base, green becomes a collateral casualty of that exact same botanical bottleneck. The absence of blue and green represents a hard boundary line, a point where the desire for visual perfection meets the limits of organic chemistry. Rather than delaying the launch until they had a perfect scientific solution, Mars made a calculated decision to release the incomplete dye-free lineup anyway. They prioritized modern health metrics, willingly abandoning their classic aesthetic to meet the rising demand for cleaner ingredients. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, a high-stakes research and development race continues. Food scientists are running countless trials, still attempting to synthesize a natural blue stable enough to withstand the production process. A viable natural blue carries implications far beyond a single bag of candy, offering a massive competitive advantage across the global food industry. For now, the future of mass-market food relies on a compromise. We have to accept a less visually perfect, incomplete spectrum as the necessary cost for authentically healthier ingredients.